both a minion and a mount in 14, and the mount in 14 has a special action where you can stop, get off of the mount, and pet him.
That's why 14 is the best game ever.
Yes.
But that right there is why 14 is
they know what the players want.
They know their audience.
Yeah.
Oh no, my Adobe's gonna be on screen for a minute as I close it.
Not Adobe.
I forgot to close everything. So I had to close Steam, Epic, and Adobe.
Isn't Adobe under like a big lawsuit or something?
Adobe's coming under fire because of their recent term of service for Photoshop. That say, if anything you do and or make in our Photoshop app, we have the right to use in numerous different ways.
Also known as making AI.
They don't outright say that. Like, the bigger thing is that they can technically use it for fucking anything they want, in terms of, like, marketing or, like, display.
Yeah, but AI is the cringe one that everyone hates, so.
Yeah, but they don't outright say it. So, like, there's technically no proof, and no reason. There's no immediate reason to have outrage about the AI fact when there is something you can have outrage about. I watch.
Yeah, worse things to worry about right now.
So bugs stop congregating on my way. I can't turn that off. The bugs are gonna congregate at my window. We're gonna have to deal with it. I don't even know what kind of bug that is, but I don't like that it's on my window.
I've killed so many ants this week painting.
Let me do that. Let me do this. Let me go put this here. I do
I'll
like.
watch the finals of the hockey tomorrow. So bad.
I do like.
Forgot finals was tomorrow.
Game 7 of the NHL playoffs. Nothing better than sports. Hockey has the best playoffs and the best Game 7s.
True.
Just a fact.
I'm happy because Shoresy Season 3 comes out, I think, next week. And I know they entirely did that because they wanted to wait until hockey was done before they released it.
I'm happy because Oshinoko is fucking nuts right now.
Oh shit, I'm like probably 2 chapters behind.
I
think I'm like
right
2 or
That's all I'm gonna say.
2 to 4.
I'll get there. I'll read it again one day. When I run out of other things that I'm reading, I'll go, oh wait, Oshinoko. I can go to that app and read it. It'll happen. Hey guys, we're live.
Hello.
This time, we're live. Welcome back, John.
Hi, I'm alive.
It happens.
I painted.
Every once in a while, you die during a week.
I
It
just died a
happens.
couple times. When you work 3 days of the week and you're like busy the other 4, it becomes hard to podcast. It's funny how that works.
Whoa.
I think I need to turn John up. Actually, I'm
Yeah,
gonna choose not to do that. I'm gonna assume you're gonna get louder as we go. Just yeah, I turned you guys in general up, so that should fix that. Here's hoping. I mean, I'm gonna have to listen to this VOD back to find out if for some reason OBS mic is going to pick up air conditioner, so that I know that. My guess is no. I just think that's my general audio level my mic just sits at, so I think it's fine.
I mean, I can very barely hear it.
Yeah, it is quietly.
That's fine
kinda
then.
there.
That's good to know. That it's at least somewhat audible.
Yeah, it's white noise, so it's not even really noticeable until
Let's
you
go.
put it
It's gonna
out.
put you to sleep. Let's go. Welcome everybody. This is technically week 6. That's a complicated matter because I count double weeks as double weeks. It's actually only like week 5, which is what's really silly. Realistically, this is the 5th episode of the podcast we've done, technically, officially, where we haven't doubled up and counted as 2. Because last week I counted as 4 and 5. So this would technically be the 5th episode. In terms of week of watching anime, we are at our typical week 7 right now. Which normally, for those who don't know, we do 9 weeks and then the finale. So there will be, we technically have 2 more after this, and then the finale, which should line us up to middle of July, hopefully, about, give or take. who knows? Maybe we'll decide we want a little bit more time to prep. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a double vote off next week and just send it. Because I think if we do it I think if we do another double next week, everything will be done. I think that's only because a show that's going this week is going this week. Otherwise, I do not think that would be the case.
What do you mean it's going this week, Sean?
Well, I don't know.
We don't know that yet.
We'll
We don't
find,
know what's going
We'll find
yet.
out. Who knows? But yeah, so welcome. This is the new week. We're talking about episode 8 of our remaining 6 shows. That's right. The power ranking this week is going to be just split in half, baby. My favorite. We're going to find out what are top 3s, what are bottom 3s. Clearly, there are going to be no controversial opinions by that breakdown. Definitely not. Crazy. I'm staring at 2 of you for a reason.
I want to say I vote based on the week, not overall. So
I know power rankings are usually that.
I have a friendly balance.
Power rankings are usually that. We're gonna have some fun conversations, is all I'm gonna say. But yeah, so there are gonna be spoilers for episode 8. Do not talk about anything in chat past episode 8s. There's gonna be harsh language. But before we get into that, let's let me change the topic from intro to nonsense. Oh no, I didn't save. Intro to nonsense. So, real quick, for those who didn't know, a new manga started in Shonen Jump this week.
Oh, no way.
I did check out this manga, Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi. That's right, baby. You can't get rid of demons and exorcism in Shonen Jump. You don't know this yet, but when the next new manga starts, which should probably be next week, if things are accurate, there's gonna be another one, I believe.
Are we getting a new?
Oh, maybe not. No, because Yokai Buster
did we have
technically...
Did we
No,
have something
Yokai
end
Buster
this week?
does this. Yeah, Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi's this week. No, nothing ended this week, but apparently
Yeah, then we need to have something to we need to have something end to be replaced.
I don't know if that's true, because it looked like they had 3 on the docket. Like, there's another one they have ready to bump in. But I do not know. But no, I think all our exorcism stuff is actually, I think the next one's going to be something different. Because Yokai Buster Murakami, and then this one with the 2 new demon exorcism things popping in. Yokai. Spooky. So Ultimate Exorcism Kiyoshi has a neat character design. This author has done nothing else, I'm pretty sure, from what I've found looking it up. It's a neat character design. I am interested in its world, in its concepts, I think. I'll give it a fair shake. There is one particular panel where a certain dialogue happens that has me a little hesitant. Let me get a screenshot of it for you guys. Let me see. Yeah, I'll grab that on my phone real quick. We'll crop it just so that it looks nice and pretty. And then you will understand immensely, I think, from what I share about why I feel this way. I guess I can... Nah, I'm not going to put it up on stream. It doesn't quite matter enough for that. But for those wondering, it is the panel on page 9 in the app. It's certainly the weirdest and most awkward part of this chapter, where I'm like, that's a choice to write. Otherwise, I thought the chapter was pretty good. Again, character design is interesting. This character's an idiot, so we'll see where that goes. Who's surprised? Shonen Jump Pro Tag, who's an idiot. Outside of all the new stuff that's the new chapters that have come out, One Piece happened. Crazy. Wild week for One Piece fans.
Indeed it did.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We won't talk too much about that right now. Just because that literally came out today. So
Peak. Thank you. Thank you for attending my TED Talk.
Kagurabachi continues to be peak as well. Very good chapter this week. Some wild ass things happen. Not so that everything else is fine. Nothing else really particularly interesting or cool anymore. All the things I care about are dead. Which gave me a thought. I think I should, for everybody's sake, I don't think I should ever play Hollow Knight. Because when I play Hollow Knight and beat Hollow Knight, they're going to officially cancel Silksong. That's what's going to happen. I'm not allowed to touch Hollow Knight until Silksong comes out, I think.
Hey, listen, you should just play Elden Ring. Maybe it'll make the game easier. Because apparently Elden Ring is too hard now.
I mean, for what
difficult.
For what it's worth, it's not even just like a content creator and review opinion. Like the general Steam reviews are kind of holding to that opinion too.
I mean, the Steam reviews are sure, but I've heard it's a big mix of like, I mean, yeah, but that's kind of the point. Like, to a degree, it's like, wow, everyone complained it was too easy. The game's too easy. And Miyazaki said, fuck you. And now they're like, whoa, hey, we didn't mean that hard.
I mean, to be fair,
It's like, oh wow, we gave you options.
that's fair.
That make some of the boss fights really easy. Oh, and now you guys are complaining that the game's too difficult? Nah, shut the fuck. Also, the game has built-in systems in the DLC to make the fights easier. If you choose to ignore them, that's on you.
Only time will tell whether it's actually maybe a little skewed too difficult, or whether everybody just needs to learn how to play games better.
So the thing is, people are making a fuss about it, but I know for a fact that those people are not taking those built-in systems because they are of the opinion that if they do that, that they didn't play it correctly, even though it's a built-in system, because Dark Souls fans are fucking insane.
No, if you beat Millennia and you used Mimic Tier, you didn't actually beat the fight. Doesn't matter if that's still harder than almost every fight in every other Souls game, even with Mimic Tier. You use Mimic Tier, so it doesn't count.
Hey, Mason, speaking of video games, you beat a video game.
Yeah, I beat Control today. I also beat... No, I didn't. Never mind. I started playing. But I beat Control today.
You cut out. Did you say you started playing V3?
Started playing it again.
Okay, I can't believe you were almost going to say you beat V3. No, you didn't. Shut up.
No. Well, I mean, in a way.
In a way. It's not the same as ETD. You didn't hit one button and hit an ending of the game. It's not the same. Calm down.
I know.
You can't preach about it like that.
I beat Control today. Control was a very fun game. I really enjoyed it. And then it just ended. It was really weird.
I love that for you.
The weirdest part is that it just kind of ends twice. Where the first time it does it, it hits you with a fake credit sequence that gets all fucky because plot. And then you get through that sequence, and then it throws you at the final boss, and then you're done. And it's just very odd, because it happens at a point in the game where you're like, man, I guess it could end like right now, but it also could go on for like another 20 hours. But it was fine. I'm going through and doing the like remaining things to go collect and try and find all the secrets. But it was a good game. It was fun.
How about you, Michael? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Boy, doesn't feel like I've done much.
To be fair, it hasn't been long.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
been
thing. Is
like 5 days.
Not
like I
bad.
haven't really gotten much farther into Kuroko. I'm still in that game. I haven't even gotten to like where the big funny starts to happen near the end of that game. Oh yeah, the final game of that fucking story is bonkers. I'm at the 4th quarter. I'm at the start of it, and I know 2 major events still need to happen in this game as characters do silly things. And normally they don't hold that many things to happen in the 4th quarter. This 4th quarter, I'm pretty sure, is going to be the next 20 chapters. Normally the quarter's like 6. Yeah, silly things need to occur. Played some more Neon White. So the way I'm playing that game right now is I'm now trying to get all the gifts, because I originally didn't get them because they felt like a chore to do. Because it's like you go through a level, you speed run, you go crazy, and it's like, and now I got to slow down and spend 12 minutes walking around the stage trying to find the gift, and that gets boring. So what I'm doing now is going character by character, doing their gifts, and then doing their supports, social links, whatever the fuck you want to call them, their gift giving events. So I did Violet's first. And now I just finished getting Red's gifts. I haven't actually gone through her gift things yet, but doing that. This game's sick. Some of these gifts are hidden in very stupid places, but this game's cool. And then so it's a game I started. I don't know if I'm gonna finish this game. I might. I'll This game is weird. So there's this funny little visual novel tycoon. I don't know what the fuck you'd call this game. Called Needy Streamer Overload.
Oh, that one.
It is a game where you're essentially a producer for a Twitch streamer. Technically, they use YouTube in it. It's called MeTube. Everything's like 3 letters off from being an actual thing. Like they don't use Amazon; they use Amazon. But you essentially control what they stream, what they do between streams, things like that.
So you're
and I've heard this game is extremely fucked. Like it's real bad.
Yeah, that is
real
my understanding
fast.
as well.
Because like one of the options of things you can do in your free time, like that you can have her do, is take medication. You can choose to take the normal dosage, or you can go into go mode, as they call it.
Oh no.
Michael, this game just sounds like anyone that works for any color industry.
True.
That's okay. We're not
but
making
yeah,
that matters.
The game is interesting. I feel like I'm missing something in it. Because like a big thing about it is you need to essentially keep 3 stats in check: stress, affection, and
Sanity.
It's called they don't call it mental health, but it's essentially the mental health one. It's the insanity. It's the one you don't want to go higher. Bad things will happen. So stress happens anytime they stream or do literally anything. They get stressed. So you need to do things to reduce stress. But almost everything that reduces stress increases affection. That affection meter is how much they love your character. And if that gets too high, they'll stop streaming because they don't have a reason to do it anymore because they have you. So you need to essentially balance all 3 of these stats back and forth, and there's not a lot of ways to lower affection. It's really weird. I just got like a really big one that like dropped it a bit, and it was like, I see the things that drop affection are going to be things you don't want to do.
Usually.
You know, like tell them to do I think as they call it, a sexy stream.
Wonderful.
It's like it's one of those kind of thing. But yeah, game's neat. And yeah, Destiny 2 exists. that continues to eat up too much of my life. But you know. Oh, I played like 3 missions at Deep Rock because Deep Rock Galactic got an update, and that's pretty cool. We finally got season 5. We were on season 4 for the past year and a half or something. They were busy. Ghost Ship Games is not a very large group of people, so it takes them a bit to do big updates in their game. And they're also trying to release a Deep Rock Galactic roguelike currently, so they're also working on that.
Yep.
This is after they released the Deep Rock Galactic Survivors Lake. With the whatever the fuck that one's called. But yeah.
In that same vein, 5 days until early access for Dawn Trail drops, and I will no longer exist as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, this is why we might have to do a double vote off next week. I don't know how much time I have left on this podcast with you boys until your times get consumed.
Let's see. I haven't even finished. I'm barely into Endwalker at this point. I don't think I'm getting Endwalker done at all. I might get through base Endwalker before.
Yeah, I think you can get through base Endwalker. And to be fully honest with you, post Endwalker is not that long.
Okay, some of the other posts are really long.
compared to like the other ones, it's very short because end of Endwalker ends that story. There's no post like finish up stuff. So
there's no we're gonna do some more stuff. It's like we're just gonna vibe.
That's kind of what happens. It's just a vibe thing that gets out of hand way too fast in the post. And that's about it. And then Dawn Trail starts.
John, besides painting houses, what have you been up to?
Well, first of all, I got the key to my house, so therefore I am painting it now. Because I haven't been around for a couple weeks, so I've done a couple things. The reason why last week was delayed is because I was in New Orleans for the Pokemon NAIC North American International Championships, where I finished 195 out of like 911, I think. I say like 915 to say for number. But I got my name. If you ever look at like the Victory Road list of players, it shows the top 256, and my name and team is on there. It's pretty cool. I got a couple fun things from that. I got like a new hoodie and some shirt because they have like the actual Pokemon Center pop-up store there, which is really cool. And so we got like posters from the house, and like I got a couple shirts and like a hoodie and stuff. And then at the prize wall with the tickets we got, I got this for the house, which is really cool. Which is a straight up Mew skate deck. It's like 1 of 1,500. It has the wheels and everything. I don't know what we're gonna do with it yet, but it was cool,
skate on it,
and I
duh.
wanted it. We're not gonna be skate.
You're gonna skate
but
on it
there's
when
no
Skate the Infinity
authenticity
2
card,
comes
so-
out.
But,
We go find one big hill to ride down together.
But yeah, that's been busy. Obviously, getting the house together and stuff has been busy and looking for new job work. Yeah, NAIC was super fun. New Orleans was great, even though it was really, really, really hot. And I pivoted teams literally the morning before we got to the airport, basically, which was on Wednesday, and we played on Friday. So I'd say I did pretty well, given that I had about 2 days to learn the team and practice it. Basically, just went through greeting a bunch of docs that Austin had put together with his building group. Thank you again, Austin, for that. Because I didn't think the turtle was the way. Turns out it was. It made finals. It lost in finals. Slightly different team comp than what I was running, though. So, but yeah. With that, my Pokemon season's done. But Austin's going to Worlds, which is really cool. And since then, I've pivoted into getting back to finishing a game that I did not start of Pokemon, which is Renegade Platinum. And now I am at the Elite Four, which if you don't know much about the ROM hack or about it, basically, Renegade Platinum is a difficulty ROM hack made by famed ROM hack creator Drayano. And it's pretty balanced, pretty fair, has a lot of newer tech, has some like changed Pokemon and like abilities and stuff, like Meganium and Milotic have the fairy type now. You have fighting type Electivire, things like that. However, the one downside of this is the Elite Four is impossible to plan for, because for each member, including the champion, you have 4 different possible options of what team they will have, and you do not know which one it is until you start the battle. This poses a problem because some of those teams have the same Pokemon on 2 separate teams with 2 separate leads, and so it basically means you have to plan for basically like 1 in 1,024 different possible Elite Four and Champions runs, in which each fight you kind of have to have a plan for each of the 4 fights at level 75 with good AI and better Pokemon. So planning for that has been a nightmare. My box is fine, but I have to figure out what to bring for that, and it's been fun.
I imagine you're Nuzlocking it.
As a Nuzlocke,
I was
yes.
gonna say, I don't presume you have to say it, but in case people don't know generally that is what people do with a game like that, yes,
Yep.
I assumed so.
And then after that, I might try my hand at Radical Red, because I think that's like a step up in difficulty, but a lot more tools at your disposal.
That is my
To people who are asking, why not just do Run and Bun? That's the hardest one and newest one. Fuck you, there's no shot that's happening.
Yeah, it's the point. It's the hardest one. It's not fun.
It's meant for people who
Yeah.
make a living off that.
Yeah.
It's for people like Peachal who can spend 8 hours a day planning out a single fight.
Let's go.
And this is not. And this is for like 3 months of a fight, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you watch PK Chow Daily, that's insane where he's at Run and Bun. But he did just get a loaded encounter, and I'm so excited for what comes next. Because, man, some of those fights in there, for example, Run and Bun's Unfairities, just to quickly go over some fun facts on it. Team Magma Hideout has permanent Sun.
Mhm.
Team Aqua Hideout has permanent Rain. Standard stuff. Seafloor Cavern has permanent Aurora Veil. Oh, also the last room of Magma Hideout has permanent Magma Storm, which is a field effect that does 1/6 of your HP at the end of every turn, and you are trapped and cannot switch out, unless you have a Ghost type or Shed Shell equipped.
And if you didn't know, Roxanne has a Zygarde.
Roxanne is the second gym leader because Brawly's the first gym
Yes.
leader with a level cap of 21, and he starts with a Cubfu.
you
Roxanne
get-
has Zygarde 10%. Tate and Liza
Which is
is
the
a
dog.
back-to-back 4-4 double single battle. So you fight 4 Pokemon and then 4 more Pokemon back to back without being able to change your team at all.
God, I'm never touching that game.
Oh, by the way, Mount Pyre's Peak is in permanent Tailwind for the opposing team. And the final fight is a tag battle, which is where you fight with a partner who leads with the Delcatty, and then you're facing a Hydreigon and an Urshifu Rapid Strike that have Tailwind. So it's really fun and cool and balanced.
And that's why John's not playing it.
I think maybe like 15 people have beaten the game, Nuzlocke-wise. Apparently, like, it's one of those things where listening to it, it's just like the difficulty just keeps ramping up, and then you hit a point where it's like you have so many good tools that you're okay, but you still have to cook so hard for every fight.
Yeah.
And it's actually really well designed in the aspect of a lot of like level caps are set 1 level below things you get. So like when you get Urshifu, because you get a guaranteed Urshifu encounter after the 7th gym, your cap is now 89, but it gets its signature Searching Strikes or Wicked Blow move at 90. So you have to like either wait through another split or use a rare candy, which are a limited resource, to level it up past that.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't including the endless candies you get just to level your Pokemon to the cap. So it's really insane ROM hack. Would be really fun to do casually. There's no fucking shot I'm ever Nuzlocking that. So Radical Red, much more doable.
I do not have lots of other things yet because it is not yet Monday, so there's not the last episode of Moonlit is not out. Most of what I have done when I've gotten home is watch stuff for the podcast or watch Mason play Danganronpa. I did, however, one night stay up until 7 in the morning to finish my first run of The Life and Suffering of Sir Bronte, which is a neat little game on Steam, where it is a game where you go through the life of the character. You make your character, and by make I mean you give him a name, and then you go through 5 stages of his life. The first 2 are basically just to get you, to get through like early childhood and adolescence. Which builds up lets you make choices to build up different connections with characters in the story, and then gives you different stats, and then those stats compile into new stats. So however much you raise certain stats will then combine to give you a core stat, 6 different core stats when you get to like the young adult part, which then will decide what job you take, or if you don't take a job and become a rebel. It's a very neat game that has a lot of interesting outcomes and commentary on different social and political situations. It's very Disco Elysium in terms of like choice and dialogue, but not in that you aren't moving around. It is a storybook and you are making choices. So I blitzed through that and did my first ending of that on Wednesday. I don't know what day I made that mistake. It was a day. Other note, because
it was Wednesday.
Yeah, because I cleaned my room, I have also found some things that are really neat that I think Michael knows I own, but I don't know if anyone else knows I own, which are my 2 Akatsuki rings. So back in high school, my buddy Alex, friend of the podcast, former member, occasional dabbler in anime, bought an Akatsuki ring set, and we split it amongst a bunch of us. And so I have the Itachi ring, and I have the Datara ring, because I'm based.
Because those are the correct rings.
Because they're the correct rings to have. So I have those 2. And they're neat. And the Itachi one fits on the right finger. The Datara one is just a little... My fingers are just a little too big for it to go on my right index finger anymore. Which is unfortunate. But also, I don't usually wear rings, so it's fine. Other than that, I do not have a lot of other things to say or talk about. Outside of stuff we've already talked about. And that means that it is time to talk about anime. And that means, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the power ranking. You might notice that on the power ranking this week, I put the power ranking twice, because that way you can visually see it maybe better. Or not. Maybe it's horrible to look at. If it is, deal with it. It's neat. It lets you put the power ranking twice and then fill the space with a bunch of little guys and gals. Or little guys and gals. Some of them from before my co-host's time, most of them from during my co-host's time, and by some I mean one character from before my co-host's time. He's such a cool character that he's an emote in our server.
It's a cool cat.
Me and Sean have a single swap. Damn,
Yeah, we do.
we almost had it.
It happens.
That's fair. I think again that
I feel like that might.
4 and 5 are kind of a toss up for me. It's
Yeah,
just-
it's tricky. I'm excited to hear John talk because he didn't get to talk last week, and so I'm interested to understand. And I don't have any particular strong feelings about Mason's choice. It just happens. I understand. This was a week.
I don't understand what's to understand.
Well, we're gonna find out. Michael, let's talk about episode 8 of Girls Band Cry.
Girls cry.
Shit. So guys, we this week, those girls in the band,
They
they fucking
They
cried.
cried
They
a lot
truly
this
cried.
week.
This week. Okay, so this episode, they're on their way home from the concert they just had in the one club with Mine. That's the person's name. I just realized it sounds kind of weird. We don't like get that.
Them
Duo
performing
performance with her?
Yeah, I thought
Which,
about
like-
that
Yeah.
last week.
Whatever. So they're on their way home. Tension can be cut with a knife. A very, very thick tension in this car because Nina just hit them with the I'm quitting school, and Momoka's like, you're a dumbass. Because as we learned through this episode, Momoka did the same. We've known Momoka did the same thing, but we also know Momoka very much regrets doing it. Is what it's supposed to be set up as.
She also
And she-
convinced everybody in Diamond Dust to do it. It wasn't
Yeah.
just her. She
Yeah,
told
this
she told
episode
everybody
starts
to
with a
commit.
flashback. It's like, we gotta commit. We gotta burn our bridges, as they say. Because if we have a way out, we won't be pushing for it. If you have a backdoor, you'll use it.
Yeah, you will.
So then they stop for whatever, go to the bathroom, food, whatever. It's a long car trip. Then they have the two of them have a whole ass fight there, Momoka and Nina. As they do anytime they're in a public space, these two just argue. And we have a good little moment where we have some good moments there, where Momoka goes, Subaru, why did you not stop her from saying this? And she goes, what the fuck was I supposed to do? I am not her mom. I do not control. If I was her mom, it wouldn't matter. Essentially. So they're doing that. As they're having this whole thing, Subaru also hits them with it's like her big, like, showy, guys, it's all a show. We're doing a drama. Please ignore us. Please.
My friends are idiots and fighting in a public
Yeah.
space.
Again.
Yeah, and then near the end of this, we get like a really good moment where Momoka's going to walk away. Nina hits her with the, oh, so you're running away again? Momoka rightfully gets pissed off at this, turns around, grabs her, and pulls her fist back, and Nina goes, do it. Hit me.
Do it.
Give me a reason to hate you. God, that scene fucking hit. Oh my god.
Keep talking.
Yeah, so this happens. And throughout this whole thing, Tomo's trying to get out of this because she doesn't want to be here for this, which is fair. Because she just wants to make music with a group of people that are good at making music. So they all go back to their homes. Subaru has a talk with Momoka. Yeah, Sean's having a time over there. Subaru has a little talk with Momoko when they get home. About, I don't even remember exactly what they talk about. They just talk about stuff. It's like, yeah, we kind of gotta. It's like, yes, she is being annoying, but you kind of gotta hear her out on this. And Tomo goes, hey, Nina, if you guys don't get this sorted out, we're leaving. Because Nina writes a letter to her dad going, officially, I want to be independent now. Stop giving me money. Like, she's officially burning the bridge that is her parents, which is sick. It's a really good moment. And now she starts working at the beef bowl place.
We learned something here, right? We didn't know this until now. Her name's not Nina.
No, that's her dad's name.
Are you sure?
It says Norio Iseri, which Norio would be a guy.
Are we sure?
I'm pretty sure the idea is that's the dad. I mean, it could be that that's a nickname. I don't know.
Because
That Nina's a nickname that she uses.
Cause I don't.
I
think,
read that as her
I
dad's
don't
name.
think they address her as Nina either in the school. Which, given that she is with her family, I would not expect them to address her by her last name. But that could just be.
I think the only time we hear someone say her name there is the principal or whoever it is, or teacher,
I
whichever
don't
character
think
it's
they
supposed
call
to
her
be.
Nina.
No, they call her Iseri, which would be her last name, which is what you
Okay.
call someone.
Okay, perhaps I am wrong.
I mean, it is possible that
Perhaps
Nina's a
I
fake
am
name.
wrong.
I mean, I think that's a cool way to look at that. I just read it as, oh, that's the dad's name. That's who she's sending it to. But
Perhaps you
who's
might be
to
right.
say? I mean, I guess we'll learn when they eventually get to this. So she's working at the beef ball place. She's being very mediocre at her job because she's new at it. And then who shows up? But Momoko. Yippee! Momoko goes, "Hey, are you free after this?" And Nina goes, "Unfortunately, yes." So they're on a little road trip. Where two of them are in a car. We get some cute little moments between the two of them. Or, Momoko's like, "Yeah," or Nina's like, "Yeah, this may not be a long drive, but I could be in a car with you forever." And it's like, oh shit, the gay. Sprinkle a little bit of the gay. And so the thing Momoko's trying to bring her to is a Diamond Dust concert, which I guess Momoko being Momoko and having the name recognition of being the person who was in Diamond Dust lets her get backstage. They watched a bit of their concert from backstage, as the group's playing Void, because apparently that's the only song they're allowed to have Diamond Dust sing. Which is probably because the whole Nina Void connection, that's like an important thing for her. I just think it's weird that that's the only song we've had them sing so far. I know we will get another one later eventually, but
Maybe.
we don't have that yet. I mean, I know we do just get one later. So, and to Nina Momoko then have another little kerfuffle, or Momoko goes, "This is what burning your bridges looks like. This is what staking it all on a thing is, and going with what producers want, because producers will do what they need to do to get people to sell." And Nina goes, "Okay, and I want people to listen to your music. And also and Momoko goes like, this is why I wanted to be in a band with you, because you just like to sing. You sing your favorite song. You don't give a fuck what people think." And it's like, damn, that's crazy. Nina goes, "And that's not me. Do you ever? I am not the exact person you think I am." And she runs off angry. The Diamond Dust people get out of their concert. They're having a little talk out in the parking garage area. Some shit happens. The Diamond Dust people walk out and go, "Holy shit, is that Momoko?" Momoko goes, "Shit, we gotta go." Momoko then gets in the car and goes, "Nina, take a train." Nina then almost gets hit by the car that Momoko's driving because she's a dumbass and runs in front of it. And goes, "Okay, now we're even." Because she previously slaps Momoko earlier in the night. I assume that's what the "we're even" is from. And then Momoko we finally get Nina talking back to the people in Diamond Dust, and Momoko finally goes, "Okay, I'll put my trust in this girl. We're gonna fucking go for it." And then she just talks smack at them, and it's wonderful. All 3 times I watched this episode, I was quietly cheering. At the moment Momoko gets like the smirk and starts talking back to them, "Oh, that shit performance you just put on? You guys are terrible. If you're gonna be cute, be cuter." It's so good. And then they're driving back, and Nina goes, "Hey, just so you know, I don't just love your music. I love you as a person too, Lamau." And then we have Momoko crying, playing with Void playing over the radio. And then we have the other 3 going "See, it was all good. They got it done with." Because Rupa's whole big thing to Tomo this whole episode is the opposite of love is indifference, not hate. Because hate means you care.
Subaru is still just chilling in Momoko's house, right?
No, that's her house.
Is that her house?
Okay.
That's
her
I didn't
apartment.
remember.
Yeah.
Right, because she has the big TV. Right.
Yeah, she has the
Girl
really,
daughter.
really
Right.
nice apartment because her grandma has lots of money. So that was a really long thing.
So,
There you go.
John,
Yeah, what's up?
what are your thoughts on Girls Band Cry?
I think it's fine. So my issue is, I talked about this in Nathan. So the reason why I always am so low on it is because it feels like every episode follows the same formula of, Girls Band Cry exists. One thing happens, they fight, they shout at each other a bunch, they make up. Occasionally, there's a music interlude in there. And I feel like that's been like the entire show the entire way for me, and that's why I'm just not as in on it as everybody else is. I still think it's a fine show,
That's acceptable.
but
Your
yeah, that's
answer
kinda my
is
biggest
not
issue,
going
like,
to
if-
get you
if-
burned at the stake.
no, I know that's okay.
It's only
Each episode just feels
acceptable.
kind of the same to me. Is the reason why I don't like it that much.
It's only acceptable
Um,
because I levied this complaint a few weeks ago that I did feel a little samey about the fights happening again and again. So I agree with you. This is fine. Yes.
And while I do feel like characters are growing and things are happening, I just don't like the show that much. To be honest, I think it's fine, but I just don't care enough about Nina. To be honest, is the main issue too.
That's fair. I adore this
Was-
episode.
Her getting mad and running away gag got really old after the 5th time it happened. But now she's better. But like, it's just one of those things where it's just like I just don't. It lost me too early on with that, I guess.
Interesting. I really like this episode. Real good emotional beats. I mean, it's top of my week this week. Which will be a conversational point. Because it's another show that I know will be argued is probably the best episode of the week. I really like this episode. It hit more emotional moments for me than Windbreaker did. Just personally. They both are doing very different things. Obviously.
Yeah, but the punch was way lamer in this episode.
I disagree. How? Don't worry about that. That's nothing. That's fine. That's small. It's okay. We don't have to kill that one. It's just a little guy.
Shaw.
But don't worry about it. I'm fighting for my life. This is the cost of putting an air conditioner in my room. No, but God, so the other reason I'm running off the fact that I think Nina is an alias is because of the way the new lead
The
singer,
way Nina reacts to it.
she's like, I don't know someone named Nina.
Yeah.
Well, she just said I don't know that person.
Yes, but they're also they also make a big point of yelling her name a bunch in this scene. Momoka does. Like, Momoka yells Nina's name a bunch. And this could be, look, I've been known to read too deep into things sometimes. It happens. It's just a thought. But overall, I really like a lot of the conversational points in the arguments this week. I like the paralleling that Nina and Momoka both have in how they view each other in relation to their past. Like, Nina very much views most of her argument with Momoka in the same way that she had arguments with bullies in school. And a lot of her throwing back at her, like, go ahead, hit me, be a bully, do it. You will understand immensely why I'm the way I am if you keep pressing forward on this point. I am happy that it feels like we are at the end of this bit, though, because I agree. I do feel like this dragged a little bit in terms of amount of fights and time it took to get here for a resolution on this issue. But overall, I really like this episode. I really like this show. It's top of my list this week. It's not top of my list overall. Still, probably is what I'll say. It has not quite. It is probably still squarely my number 3 show right now overall. Is what I would say.
Fair. It's got a tough competition for sure.
Yeah. So Windbreaker this week.
Well, you don't want to give any thoughts about Girls Band Cry? Okay, let me switch the.
We want to talk about the actual number 1 show
Let me
this week.
switch
Am
the
I right,
topic.
brother?
Let me switch the topic card to Windbreaker.
I thought that's what you were going for. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine. No, we can talk about Windbreaker.
Mr. Reed.
To,
Bad read.
You're all good.
to summarize my points on Girls Band Cry, I did really enjoy this episode this
Well,
week.
now I gotta erase it and put Girls Band Cry back up.
I think we're
It's
fine.
Yeah, just to summarize, I enjoyed this episode this week. It just didn't quite hit the same high for me that Windbreaker did, but I don't think anything was going to be doing that, to be honest. But yeah, I can talk about Windbreaker now if we have no other thoughts about Girls Band Cry. Okay, so Windbreaker this week is the conclusion of the Sakura versus Joe Togame fight, or Togame Joe, where we end up getting some incredible bits of fight animation, and we end up we get a discussion between Sakura and Togame while this fight is going on about why Sakura doesn't understand why he's there, because he's being lame and he's letting these scumbags do what they want, and he doesn't seem like the person to do it. So he's going to fight him and win and make him a cool person that he enjoys fighting against. What Togame responds with, "No, I don't let scumbags in here. This place is for the strong, not for the scumbags." To which Sakura goes, "No, you let that happen. You're just as bad as them now." They fight. The fight is absolutely sick. And during this bit, Sakura ends up saying some things that convince Togame of, "Oh, I went about this the entire wrong way. I shouldn't have just accepted that Choji was going to do this and resigned myself to cleaning up after him. I should have beat the shit out of him because he was being a dumbass." And in the middle of the fight, when he realizes this, you see the light kind of come back to his eyes, and he smiles, and it hit me. It's really good. This then leads into just an all-out, just beating the ever-loving shit out of one another fight between these
Just
two.
being dudes.
Just dudes being dudes. Sakura is wondering. Togame also calls Sakura by his name and not Othello or like some other random nickname that's someone has attributed to him. And it hits him because no one's really ever called him by his name before. We then get the end of the fight where they just decide, all right, we've been fighting long enough. It's time to just gentleman's haymaker, and just whoever hits harder wins.
Gentlemen, shut up.
Spoiler alert: Sakura wins. It's really good.
Kind of.
Kind of. He hits him first and hits him hard, and then Togame just
Pulls his
gives up.
punch.
He lets
Pulls
him.
his punch.
He lets
Yeah,
him.
he lets him do it.
That's
Which
a very
Pisses
important.
Sakura the hell off.
That's a very important part because I feel like most people would have a much bigger problem with this. If the people who care would have a much bigger problem with this if Sakura, because Sakura should not win this fight. And
No.
the implication is he doesn't. Like he gets the moral victory.
Yes, because he gets the moral victory. Joe just does not
We don't
want
know
to
who
fight
would
him
have
anymore.
actually won had Joe not pulled his punch, basically. That's why
Yes.
Sakura's salty.
Yeah.
Yes. But during this point, they're standing up on stage, and Shoji just starts motioning for them to get off stage so that he can fight Uemiya. Joe stands up and is like, "Hey, no, man, we went about this all wrong. There's no justice for us here. It's not great." And then takes a kick to the head, and that knocks him flying directly into the backdrop. Sakura tries to punch Choji, and Uemiya gets there fast enough to stop him. And goes, "Good. You had an actual conversation. Proud of you, dude. Let me handle this now." We then move into the Choji versus Uemiya fight, where Choji is a fucking monkey, just flying all over Uemiya, using his body in weird ways to dart around and fly around him. And then Uemiya goes, "So did you feel anything from that fight?" And Choji goes, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Okay, cool. I can beat the shit out of you and not feel bad." He throws one punch and, from what it looks like, breaks Choji's nose without even actually hitting him. And that's where we're at.
You forgot the part of the episode where the transition into the Uemiya fight starts with a sick riff from a Puddle of Mud song.
True.
That isn't accurate, but it's God that those two rules in most of our shows this week.
Yes.
You two had a great conversation. I love that was a great conversation.
And Sakura goes, what?
And
Me?
like falls over. He's like,
Collapses.
he's not doing great right now.
There's also a very funny bit that I really enjoyed, which is once Umamiya and Shoji start fighting, it pans over to the boys, and Nire is in stone because he is so scared he's petrified.
Mhm.
That is a very funny bit to me.
He was legitimately petrified.
I have a legitimate question because it's been a while and I've watched
Yes.
3 episodes since the last podcast. Was the part where Joe going over and beating up the other guys because he realized that they were just
Last
being
week.
It was
assholes?
last
Like,
week.
we-
07.
07.
It was so
Yep.
base.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's a
good.
great
That was
scene.
so
Yeah,
base.
Joe's a great character.
Because it's like
Joe is
he's
an
still
absolutely
being the
amazing
asshole
character.
about it. But it was
Joe,
actually such a like Bob was like, no, you're right. They fucked up. Hang on, I'll be right back.
He's like, oh wait, that's why this is happening?
oh, we're having problems.
They're
Okay.
beating up a middle schooler. Ooh, that's cringe.
Yeah.
We don't approve of cringe in our guild.
This episode's fucking fantastic. For shame to people who might have dropped this show, but before episode 7 and 8, because by far, the absolute reason to watch this show are these 2 episodes, and probably the next one too. For me, like looking at future, how this show wraps is gonna really seal the deal on how I feel with it heading in the top 3. But this show's probably heading in the top 3, no fucking problem. I'd be surprised if it doesn't. I love this week. This is a phenomenal episode. A 10 out of 10 for sure. Girls Band Cry was also a 10 out of 10 for me. Again, it was just quite literally physical emotions I felt while watching it. Girls Band Cry just beat it out by a smidge. Everything in this episode fucking rules. It's so good.
I watched the episode and then messaged the group chat that I think this is quite possibly the single best anime episode I've ever seen.
Now, I will tell you, I don't
think that's
agree
a
with
push.
that.
I think that's a push.
I do not necessarily agree with that.
That's fair.
I've watched a lot of really good anime.
Code Geass's last episode's pretty fucking good too.
I mean,
Is it episode 7 or is it 9 of Made in Abyss where the thing happens?
Yeah.
I have not
Ooh.
seen
So
it.
7's where the one thing happens, where I first was like, oh, Made in Abyss is good.
I mean,
And then it's like episode 10 or 11 when the thing happens.
I still hold on Umbrella episode of Violet Evergarden.
So you said Umbrella, and my brain
I still hold on episode
Well,
like
yes,
2 episodes
but
after that one.
well, yes, that like Violet Evergarden as a whole. But for me, the episode with the lake and the umbrella is like
Yeah, that's
peak for me.
My episode was The Return.
I mean, that too.
As I'll say.
And then, in addition, just to throw it out, fucking brain work, like the bicycle ride, the motorcycle ride in Terran Resonance.
yeah.
Like that episode
yeah.
fucking rules.
The Midnight Ride in Terran Resonance
Odd
is
Taxi as a
wonderful.
collective, there are parts of Odd Taxi that also definitely
Yeah.
like, and unfortunately, I will wholeheartedly say I don't think this holds a candle to Bocchi to Rock in like, Bocchi for parts of Bocchi to Rock and Ranking of Kings. I wanted to say Ranking of Kings, but Bocchi came out of my mouth, so they connect, they
Because
intertwine.
Boji and Bochi,
Yeah,
same character.
but like
Moral of
Ranking
the
of
story.
Kings,
Except for the parts where
Moral
they
of the story.
anime good.
Anime good.
And you should
Yeah,
watch.
it's
you
good.
should, you
It's
should
a
watch
good
more of our
episode,
podcast.
yeah.
It's a good episode though. This
It's a fantastic episode. Not
fight
trying to like.
scenes in this episode are also literally up there as some of the best fight scenes I've seen. It just
Yeah.
it just also doesn't clear like Momoshiki fight. It doesn't clear like
Some
Jinwei and
JJK
Daiwi.
fights, dude.
Like,
This is up there like next to the Jinwoo Handewi fight
Yeah.
from.
thank you for getting the
uh,
names right for me.
Yeah. that was legitimately my favorite fight in anime for a while, and it might still be like that. We're not gonna go into why I got a high school fight, but God, is that fight amazing!
Choreography greater than animation.
But no, like still fucking incredible of an episode.
Yeah,
so
no,
good. I don't know much to say about it.
Yeah.
Even like the last 3 weeks is like it's just this is a really sick section of fights. I'm really excited to see what the next one is because I want to see the Umamiya just beat some ass and be like, hey, you're just an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. I'm here to fix that.
Can we also? I do want to know. I appreciate how this show does its fights, in that it set them up so that you're always going to get part of the next one before the episode ends, and it doesn't hang you
That
on a
is
cliffhanger.
nice.
It's really nice.
yeah. This episode didn't end with Umamiya walking up, stopping Sakura's fight, and going, oh, it's my turn now, and then we have to wait till next episode to get like the start of it. It's
Yeah,
It's so
instead
nice
he gets
to have
to
it
use
already
his
started.
Conqueror's hockey and cause
Yeah.
Choji to bleed out of his nose.
Also, Sakura going, oh wait, if Lumiya didn't stop me,
I'd be
I
fucking
would be
dead.
dead right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about an interesting show this week. Hey John, welcome back. It's time to talk about Spice and Wolf.
This one was interesting. So we left last week on them deciding to go to the route of the wolves that is more dangerous, in which they encounter this shepherd on the road. And Hollow, being Hollow, is naturally jealous, and also it is a shepherd, so also natural enemy of wolves.
Anti-wolf propaganda in the house.
Fucking cringe anti-wolf propaganda
And
here.
on top of it, it's a woman. Oh,
And on top of that, she's like a young woman. And she has her weird horn that she blows to herd her sheep, in which they have a small discussion, and she decides, hey, I'll help guide you through here. Or well, basically, Craft's like, I'll pay you if you want to help protect us from these wolves on our way to the city. She's like, yep, I gotta go there anyways. And we find out that she works for the church, and gives them a small blessing. But she's actually surprisingly very good at herding sheep, especially for her young age, in which even Hollow comments on, like, hey, she's very proficient at her job and could be worse, and I should nip that in the butt before it becomes a problem. To which Craft is like, please don't commit murder in front of me.
John, I love this conversation because Hollow essentially goes, yeah, she's gonna just stop basically every wolf that isn't a god, and that means I could fuck her up, which is not a fair answer to Craft's question. The man doesn't go, could she kill a god?
But basically, they do end up navigating safely to the town and split off from this shepherd, in which Craft goes around to some of the guilds. He sells a bit of his armor, and he's like, that's kind of weird that they're not like commonly accepting this armor right now. Usually it's like more like super in abundance in this area. That's something funny about it. In which then he's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to my OG guild where I was trained and everything else. And it seems like he has some pretty strong connections too. And we hear someone else come into town looking specifically for him. Not Hollow, but just specifically Craft. Which is a little suspicious as well. And that's kind of where it leaves off, is where he kind of gets into like his traders guild.
Yeah,
from
speaking
home.
of cliffhangers, this show has to stinger.
Spice was fine.
Like, this show has to stinger at the end of its episodes because like it's more about like the mystery that it creates through each arc.
It's also just that old style of anime where it's like they put that cliff at the end of the
Yes.
episode every time
Yeah.
to try to get you to keep coming back. I think the show's still really pretty. I think it's good.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah.
like that like 4 area. Like I said, like I didn't get to say it last week because I wasn't here, but like for me, like like every show besides like Go for me last week was in the like Windbreaker Kaiju tier, and then the rest tier for me at least.
Mm-hmm.
Slight Note and Jellyfish, man, it was so close to being a good pair of episodes, and then it just did something really fucking weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No, our whole thing is literally like
Part of the episode, I was like tearing up. I'm like, this is actually really, really good. And then it did that bit, and I'm like, why? You were so close. You were so close to surviving.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
we talked in length about it.
But
episode 6 was great. Episode 7 was
I was
Not.
so mad.
fine, and then it decided to not be.
Even like the motorcycle bit's fine. It's just like the boob shit. Like why?
Yeah.
But anyways, back on this week's episodes, like Spice and Wolf, Wish Me Love Saw, Girls Can't Cry, Gotta Girls are still kind of like in that tier of like, for me, interchangeable. Basically, amongst those four.
We will talk.
for
We
different
will talk
reasons.
about Whisper. We will talk
different
about.
reasons.
We will talk about the lesbian in the.
Well, I understand why it's at the bottom, but I have a very valid point about to Mason earlier that I will bring up on the podcast here.
Yeah, you're being held at gunpoint. We know.
It's not gonna matter. No, not just that. I have a better point. Don't worry.
Oh, I
a
might
better
agree.
point
I
now.
might agree with you. It probably won't matter. Is all I'm just.
No,
saying.
it won't matter. I
Um,
understand that, but like it's a very valid point. But
So
yeah, I
neat,
thought Spice Wolf was good this week.
neat thing about Spice and Wolf this week. That dog is not a regular dog.
That dog sus
No.
as fuck.
That dog eyes Hollow from across the pasture as they walk away.
That
Those
dog
wolves.
that's the sorcerer. Let's be real.
That dog's actually a dragon, and I know this because it looks exactly like the one from Orphan, but a little bigger.
No, see, that dog's actually like the Hollow equivalent, but like of the dog gods.
of shepherd dogs.
I thought that.
Probably.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really make sense for that dog to hang around this shepherd then, because if the shepherd's working with the church, that's like Enemy number one for
to
any
be
god.
fair,
mean-
the church gives her a pretty the priest gives her a pretty look when she walks in the
Yeah.
side door, and she like it didn't seem like the most friendly relationship dynamic.
She's
No.
also actively saying, like, how do I get out of working from the church? She's actively asking Lawrence about that the whole way through the episode. He's just taking it as, oh, I want a second job.
Hollow banter this week is peak, wonderful. I adore her.
Hollow was wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah,
she's
she does
fantastic.
Hollow.
I understand
things.
why people say Hollow's their only waifu.
Yes,
Honestly,
to
I
quote
fully
her,
understand.
to quote her,
It's
yes,
Christmas
I
grace.
am cute.
So like, that's not the problem. I know I'm the cutest. Here's the issue, Kraft.
Where's my food? I hunger.
Please give me that spiced fig honey jam or whatever it is.
I love when she got pissed off at him and just stole his beef jerky from his mouth.
Yeah.
You know why I love that? Because that's what my fiance does.
I'm aware. I've been making this comparison since the first week of the podcast, John.
I got a beautiful sentence that came up today, and I quote: "Don't worry, honey. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine."
Good. As
No,
it all should be.
what's mine is mine, and what's yours is ours.
There you go.
Is I believe what she said.
Yeah, I don't have, shout outs to Spice and Wolf for having a fantasy town, fantasy city that looks like a real ass fantasy city and isn't a circle. It isn't just the Isekai town just plopped down. It's
Circle
like,
City, baby.
it's a legitimate actual city. It looks dope as fuck and is cool on the overhead shot of it. Rad. The show's good. I like it. I don't really have critiques to levy it. Like it is building up into the next arc. We'll have to see if that is good enough as we
Like-
narrow down.
That's the thing, is like, the show's good. It's unfortunately not just, it's getting to the point where it's not quite doing
It's
enough.
not free.
It's
not
also
free.
24 episodes, so like
Yeah.
it's in an odd spot where like it will really suck for this if it makes top 3 and then the arc doesn't close, which I imagine it would at the halfway point. I imagine this arc will take us to the end of the first half. That typically is how this goes.
Or it's can do whatever the fuck it wants.
True.
Hey,
True.
this show's great. It is wonderful. Hollow's wonderful. Craft's wonderful. These two are just such good characters. I think this show's like, it's weird. It's not exactly carried is the word to say, but like they are why the show is good. The two of them are just that well done as characters.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this show is following two characters going around doing merchant things.
Like,
The most important thing is to nail these two characters, and boy, do they!
I mean,
These two are wonderful.
I'll pose my argument that I
it's
always
that classic
pose.
argument we had. Sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead, no,
well,
Sean.
we might be making the exact same point. I argue that of all elements of a story that can solely carry a story, characters are the element that can do that. If you have phenomenal written characters, the rest of what you have can kind of be dog shit or not as good, and it can at least continue to hook you and keep you going because you like the characters so much.
You just want to see more from them.
Very few other elements of storytelling can do that because dull or bad characters just hinder it so much, in my opinion. That's always been my personal take on
Yeah,
the matter.
I, mean, I was gonna say
Yeah.
something similar in that, like, we've had it before in shows where, like, wasn't there a show this season where we complained about, we're like, man, I like this show, but I want more of the good characters, and you just moved away from the characters I cared about.
Yes.
I
We've had a
Yeah.
think it
couple
was
of
this
those.
season, right?
We talked about it with Train. It's kind of been levied with it was kind of like levied out about Jellyfish and Girls Band Cry, depending on like, because when you have an ensemble and some of the ensemble's weak, that's like an element of it that can be difficult. Is that like you personally might really like 2 of the 5 characters a lot more and think they're better written, and they just don't get as much time.
Mhm.
Spice and Wolf's good. I see why it's critically acclaimed, and either way, I'll probably be finishing it because
Oh, yeah.
it's due
Well,
for me to
it-
finish.
For sure.
It's not going this week. Let's be clear about that. I don't think.
I've had weirder things happen, Sean, on my shows. It is one of my shows.
I don't know. You should be worrying about your other show. Let's talk about.
I'm not
Kaiju-
worried about my other show. I understand where it is.
Let's talk about Kaiju number 8 this week. Kaiju number 8 picks us back off where our last episode left us, which is picking up in between the fight between Kafka and the sub-captain, Hoshina.
Hoshina.
he fucking almost kicks the shit out of Kafka. Kafka is basically
He almost kills him.
Yeah, he is basically just barely dodging and getting out of the way. Which essentially makes Kafka go, oh yeah, holy shit, this dude's a monster. Oh my god, what the fuck is happening? Once he manages to, so he he takes a full-on strike from the captain, and then basically, creates one of his bone mouths in his stomach as he does, or in his upper chest as he can do, and catches the blade, and then he fucking punches the blade, and distracts Hoshino long enough for him to slip away. At which point, when he goes to talk to Mina, right? I have her name, right? Yes.
Yes.
To Mina, Hoshino's like, yeah, so very strong kaiju. Michael, what's the classification he gives it?
A Dai Kaiju.
A Dai
That is the
Kaiju.
highest rating a kaiju can get.
And it's been a while since they've seen one of them.
Like this, I believe is like explicit. Like the things that are the numbers kaijus are the only things that are
The only
considered
Dai
Dai
Kaijus,
Kaiju.
Yeah. And this is essentially just him confirming it is at least that strong.
Yeah.
The
I
odd
think
thing,
Dai specifically means it's like above an 8 on their scale,
yeah.
and
Well,
like this
yes.
big mushroom thing was like a 6
Mm.
or like a 5 or like
Yeah.
Dai Kaiju are dumb.
Yeah. And what Hoshino basically winds up breaking down to Mina is, it's a weird kaiju number 8's weird. It did not fight me like a kaiju. It fought me like a human. Thinking.
And they also get some more
Thinking
important
face
information
emoji.
too about humans and kaijus.
Which part?
The part where they're like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, in the report they said it before they encountered the number 9 again, it was in human form."
No, I think it's just they call it humanoid.
Oh well, yeah.
That's the thing.
They
They said that they encountered it while it was in the human form.
Oh, number
yes,
9.
because
Yeah.
technically
Number
Ichikawa and Iharu do see him as a dude.
Which means
but they-
kaiju that can transform into human. Big
Yeah,
scary.
but they also do refer to these two in particular as humanoid-esque because of their body shape. They're not big, giant monstrosities. They are the average size of a
yes.
human. They also clarify that number 9 is probably also at least a Daikaiju. And then we get Kafka returns to the battlefield and it's like, hey, sorry, I let number 9 get away. Whoopsie daisy, I have to go check on my boys who are dying in the hospital. To which, I need to get her name right. Shinomiya is like,
The fuck you do?
no, you are in no condition to be moving, idiot. And then we cut and we see the boys in the hospital. They're doing good. Ichikawa wakes up and goes, Senpai, thank you for saving me. And Iharu goes, what the fuck you talking about, dude? And then they gaslight Iharu because he's dumb and an idiot and it's base. And they all look at each other and goes, thank God it was Iharu. We would have been fucked otherwise. This bit's so good because Iharu's like, you should have seen Kaiju number 8. He was cool, he was dope, he was strong, he punched that dude's head clean off, and then he tells this story again later at the dinner, and I think it's the funniest thing. We then do
Love Iharu.
cut to a group dinner, at which point we learn. First we see number 9 takes a new body. He kills a man, all Parasite style, and just takes his body and drives away in his cool car. We learn a little bit more about Izumo, who is the like greenish teal-haired colored guy. We find out that he is the heir to a big tech company that makes the suits and stuff, and that seemingly it was probably not something his father wanted him to do to leave and come join the Defense Force. We see Aoi kind of eavesdrops a little by accident while he's going to the bathroom, and he just kind of ignores it. And we get an absolutely totally, nothing to worry about phrase where Aoi goes, I'm not gonna let anybody in this room fucking die. I believe in you, buddy. I believe in you. It's gonna be fine.
Surely that'll work out.
And then Kafka goes and continue. Kafka officially gets his promotion to be a real member of the division. He gets the cool little outfit. He goes and he sees Mina in her office, and he's like, I'm not there yet, but I'm gonna keep trying till I am. And Mina goes, "Okay, bitch, didn't give me my official title, 50 push-ups, loser."
But she does smile. which
I
is
love
pretty
I
good.
love her so much. We get a lot of we get some nice like out of combat small little dialogue interactions with her, and they are wonderful.
Mm.
It's good to see that she's still like just the same person she was. Like she's still
Yeah.
human, right?
I'm very
Mhm.
happy. I'm very happy. It seems she is simply just she has to keep her professional boundary up
Yeah.
because that is her role. But she definitely doesn't like. She's not being difficult or hard on Kafka, like for any spiteful reason. Like she's just a person who remembers the promise, and this is adorable. Surely nothing bad will happen in the long term of his story. I hope. And then Kafka does a little bit more late night reading, and he goes, "Okay, I'm gonna get yelled at if I stay up any later. I'll go to bed. Who the fuck's in the training room?" And it's the sub captain Hoshina, and he is mental image training like a beast and murdering Kafka's kaiju form over and over and over again. To which Kafka almost shits himself. We have a really good conversation where Hoshina basically goes, "Yeah, I'm doing this because those two kaiju we just fought, too powerful for you guys. I'm gonna have to be the one to deal with those." And I'm starting to think he can. At which point Kafka goes, "Well, I'm gonna keep training too." And then we get in an episode stinger where a bunch of flying where we have another humanoid-esque, probably Daikaiju riding in on a bunch of flying kaiju. Nothing bad is going to happen next week.
Nah, he's a homie. It's fine.
He's a friend. He's a friend. You know,
Like, I
just
have a question.
Just a friend.
Well, since you've read it, is the third division like the third tier, or is it like
No, they're just. I don't think
or like third group?
they might technically have like might be considered like, oh, this is like they have like the third strongest captain technically, but it's also one of the like I think it's just number 1 is in Tokyo, number 2 is this region.
Okay.
I
It's
think
like
I think it's
location.
just that like I do know that there is a
I wanted to
person
see
we're gonna
who's
meet who's fucking
stronger.
bonkers who's in first division, but
Mina's fucking bullshit.
yeah, and then you meet the guy in first division. He's a
Also
silly
bullshit?
guy. He's wonderful. Yeah,
He's just a silly little guy?
cast is wonderful. This kaiju we're about to get is wonderful. I adore him too.
I am excited. No matter when this show goes, whether it's in top 3 or not, I'm certain it will be, but I have to say that. After this is off the podcast, I am going and reading this because I'm very
Oh,
I
no,
will-
I'll be.
Yeah, I will also
day-
probably because
the
who
day
the
we
fuck
watch
knows?
12, the day we finish the top 3, I will be reading this manga and have it done by the time we podcast the finale.
No, you'll be done by the time that day ends. This is a
Probably.
really fast
How-
read.
I was gonna say
how
how
many chapters does it have?
how far
It's
It's-
at 110 right
Oh,
now.
that's not
and I
bad.
think
That's
a
we're at
day's
about
work.
chapter
That's-
20.
that's-
and they're
Today's work.
relatively short chapters.
did you say
from what
we're
I understand
at
for part of
we're at
them.
20?
About. So the Hoshino Kefka fight starts at I believe chapter 18.
That's wild. Do you think
Yeah.
with what you know because of pacing, is there enough to readily like do another season of this and like
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
like pretty
so-
quick after?
we could definitely probably get a season 2 and have to wait for a 3, depending on. Because I'm trying to remember exactly what happens. Because we have to get through this. We then have a major thing happen where like things occur, and then we have the current arc. I think is like we'd be building up. Season 2 build up to the
Like,
thing
they
that
find
is
out?
occurring.
Yeah, and then you have all the sub chapter stuff they're doing now, the side story stuff, which I don't know
Yeah,
where
you
those
do
fall.
you do have the B-side stuff. I don't know how that actually.
Yeah, I see that
Maybe-
Hoshina has his own manga too.
They might just
Yeah.
do that as like a side story, like anime thing too. In all honesty, depending on how much is there, but who knows? No, I think so. Like for what it's worth, I think this is a really good episode. It's a downtime episode. You get a little bit more about some of the characters. You get the action at the start of the episode. And you get some really cool moments at the end. I think this is a great episode.
That's where I'm at with it. That's the only reason why it's at 4. Is like, I think the other 3 shows ahead of it had really good weeks this week, and this was a downtime episode. I still think this is easily a top 3 show. It's just other 3 shows had better weeks.
I think Michael and I are probably in the same state with this. I just have a hard time putting anything above like this and Windbreaker, and then Girls Band Cry was my one that like this was a really really good week for it, so that's why it snuck its way above it. Like to me, this and Windbreaker are definitely top of the pack.
for sure.
Michael has an innate bias, but
I mean, yeah, I love Girls Band Crack, but like, yeah,
Yes.
it's the same. These two, I think, are just a notable step. Like this and Windbreaker are like a step above the other shows. I mean, the thing with Spice One is that it's really hard to compare it. It's super
Yes.
slow, super character focused.
and I think you can argue
and
the same for Yada.
It's not gonna have these like really crazy kind of moments.
I think
Yada
you
has
can,
fucking moments,
I think
but yeah,
yes,
I mean,
but
so
I
does
think I think
so
you,
does
I think
Spice One.
you can argue Yada, which we're gonna get into it in like soon. It'll be the last show, so we have another one before it. But like I think Yada has a similar structure where it's like it is not the same pace as Windbreaker and Kaiju. You're doing two
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah. So to fix my chapter count, so next episode will start with chapter 24.
Okay.
This manga is fast. There's very little dialogue. It's a whole lot of pictures.
It's a whole lot of murder kill.
But yeah, the
Later.
stinger for chapter 23 is the next kaiju writing. Go ahead, and now initiate descent.
Initiate. It's such a fucking metal phrase too.
Speaking of metal, John.
Metal.
let's talk
They don't
about-
play metal. They play gay. So this week on,
Whisper Me
I
a
always
Love
forget
Song.
I always forget the name of the title for some reason. So I always want to say Your Lie, and I'm like, that's not right.
You're lying, a love song.
In
I'm with your end
Whisper
lies.
Me a Love Song. It opens up with Aki being confronted about her love of Yoru by Shiho, right? Who's in the other group. In which she's like, no, it's fine. Nope. Nope, don't know what you're talking about. Nope, it's fine. Copium. And then she goes home and goes, God, what gave it away? Was it me? Was it my voice? How does she know? We should talk about the situation between the other groups. And they find out, hey, we made it to the school festival. Yay, big shocker. We qualified, but we sucked compared to them. To which Aki actually grows a pair and goes, hey, we're going to beat you. We're going to be better than you. And when we do, you're going to tell us why you left, because you a little bitch. And so then we have pardon me.
Yeah.
We have Himari, who decides to ask about it and figure out what's going on. As the resident like being who finally figured something out for once, and finally puts two together and goes, wait a minute. Purple hair. I know that one. That's just like this person's friend who has the same name. Oh shit, it's the same person. She's also in a band. Oh, it's the same band. Oh no. And we have more game moments between the two of them. And basically our little bean has her own inner conflict of like, I don't know who I want to root for because I like Yoru, I'm going to choose Yoru, but I also like
Shiho's music.
Momoko's friend Shiho because she seems like she's a nice person in the club, and I don't really know who to root for. And we end up having her hanging out with Aki's younger sister, and then the Aki's younger sister has to go to grammar school, so she goes into this cafe in which she runs into Sheena, who's working a side job to help pay for her hobbies of music, in which we get her backstory where she actually was good at the violin and then met someone who's better, who we don't even know, and then goes and then it gets spotted so hard that she has the most petty fucking idea ever. That's like, listen, she can't quit violin, so I'm going to quit to be a guitarist just to be better than her. It's her logic.
To quote Michael, she goes, "I'm the worst human being ever."
Which honestly I think is the most vain shit ever, and I kind of love it.
It's so funny.
It's so fucking funny that she gets so salty she keeps losing that she goes, fuck it, I'll do your dream instead, bitch. And yeah,
I love too that she says, yeah, I never saw her again after that. So she kept this grudge going for like 6 or 7 years after.
and this just goes to show women hold the longest grudges. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. I agree that the show is definitely a weaker option on the list and probably on the chopping block. And my one argument I'd like to make to keep it on is that it is still June, and so we need at least one gay show for Pride Month.
Yeah, Girls Band
Yeah,
Cry.
Girls Band
However,
Cry.
I don't think Girls Band Cry is gay enough yet. That's the only problem.
I don't know what show
I don't
you're
know,
watching.
man. Look at the screenshot.
I don't know, man. I just listen. They haven't made out yet, so it's like kind of suspect.
Yeah, neither have Yori and Himawari.
Yes,
Yeah,
but they held
I-
hands, which is far more intimate, Mason. I need to.
I don't know.
understand
Did
that.
you see what Momoko did? This that was with the
Pretty
cheek
much.
grab. That was pretty gay.
Yeah, but I also saw her slap her in the face.
Yeah, it's also pretty gay.
For podcast viewers wondering, I'm 2 dead bugs in this podcast.
Sick.
So my counterpoint to that is, did you see Yori's eyes at that one point where she's playing the guitar and her eyes go like this?
I think my favorite one is the part where she's talking to her and
Her head doesn't work the way human head should work.
yeah, Himari's neck is like this, looking back at her.
So
I didn't get a chance to touch that, but I know you guys did. The microphone's disappearing and reappearing last week too.
so
I accept where this show
I
is
really
at,
like
but
and
it's
enjoy
cute.
this show. I think it's a good time. I like do not hate it. Yokohama Animation Lab.
The birth the budget.
I don't,
go.
I don't
I
know
talked-
where
I
the
told Mason about
I
this
don't know
before
where
the
the
podcast.
animation from in their name goes, but it's not into their products.
Listen, I talked about Mason with this before the podcast. I'm like, man, if this show just looked prettier, it would be like it wouldn't be as far on the chopping block as it is. I think
Michael
that's an easy argument.
Michael
maybe.
talked about this. The show looks like it has 5 different animation artists working on it at a time. Like they just don't draw the same face. They draw like 5 different faces.
Yeah, like, Himari notably, like every time she's focused on screen, looks like a different character. Sometimes it's like, oh, she's doing a little like pouty chibi face. That's fine. But
Yeah.
there are times where it's the same kind of expression she's supposed to have, and I'm just like, yep, that's a different person. Oh, that's the third person drawing it. Oh, we're back to number 2. Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
it's. I understand this show is not super focused on its music. It is supposed to be more on like the romance stuff, which boy has it not been focusing on for a bit. Because I do like the romance. I think the 2 of them are adorable. Episode 6 was great.
Well, it's because we're
we
building
went
a
over-
new romance now.
Sure. I mean, I guess that is what we're doing. Trying to build Aki and Shiho, I assume, is
We
We're
have to
trying to
not.
do.
We have to. They have to at least realize they were once gay for each other, whether they knew
Oh,
it
yeah.
or not.
They have to realize they're gay.
But it's just in the backstory stuff when she's playing the violin. Boy, is she not even close to actually playing a violin in like 90% of those shots. That's not where the bow goes. I know most shows don't know how to animate violins, but if you're gonna be like super music focused, look up what a violin performance looks like. Come on, it's not that hard. Just know the bow go on the part where the strings aren't touching the wood, because then it won't make sound. But yeah, I think the romance of this show is great. I've just never been a big fan of its drama, because I just don't. I don't know. I think it's just these characters are the pettiest motherfuckers ever sometimes. Like, Aki and Shiho are so fucking petty. Like, it's crazy.
In a way, though, that
Amazing.
adds to its charm. you
I know.
know?
That's...
That's why
It's just something about the way Shiho is. This episode is just a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, though, like for me, no matter how much like any conversation or not, there legitimately is a point where I have to be like, the show just doesn't hit the same standards as everything else on the podcast. I like contractually can't let it go farther. It's just not allowed. Like, it would have to be so fucking good for me to let it go any farther than this week, and it's just not. It's not that good. And like, this is an expectation I've come to have with the studio, unfortunately. For me.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I'm not arguing the levy this show on. I still like it a little bit more than some other shows, but yeah, it was a fine show. I got farther than I thought I would. I'll be honest. I thought
Fair.
for sure I was getting shot last week, so
No, we had
I
other
think I have
things.
the
We had
extra
other
2 weeks
things
out
to
of
get rid of.
Yeah.
The joke was last week I began my warpath, and I think that ends immediately this week.
thanks, Happy Go. It's your warpath.
I think I either slayed 4 or 5 shows last week. Not that it was like particularly visible in the way the slays were done, but like yeah, I think I slayed like everything but my top 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing because I didn't slay the top 3. I think then I slayed Go-Go, which is at number 4, and then I like didn't slay Spice and Wolf, but everything else got a slay. So it was kind of just like I don't particularly care what else is on the thing. I just care about these shows. I think these are the good ones. I'm doing the Dylan where I just vote everything but the things I care about.
He still stands by the way that is what you should do. He basically stands by. If
I mean,
a show's
I think that's
not,
pretty base.
He says if a show's not in your top 3, you should be voting it every week.
That's insane to me.
But only 3 things can be in my
well,
top
because
3.
if
And I can
everybody,
have 5 shows I want to
everybody
watch.
did that, every show would get wheeled.
That's
if you
base.
had a consistent top 3, right? That's the argument, is that like you expect not to have a consistent top 3, so you get like 5 or 6 that aren't always in danger of going. But you know, that's neither here nor there. What is here and there is our last show of the night. And yes, I'm speeding us along because I am in constant fear of my life.
Suyategurasu is getting crazy in there. Those princesses are having a rough time.
In a different way than I expected this week.
Yeah. So this week starts off where forgetting how it actually starts.
Investigating the body, as all good murder
Yes.
cases do.
Yes. So Samuel got pushed off a balcony, and she tried to turn into a raven before she hit the ground, but it didn't quite work out. So she's dead, and Sumio is investigating the body. They end up going to the Cherry Blossom Palace to let all the
Consorts.
Empress consorts know, and the northern consort basically goes, "Oh, well, if that's the one who died, then clearly Asebi's the one who did it." And everyone goes, "What the fuck are you talking about? A woman is dead."
Even her now in league with her goes, "Hey, you want to try to play this cool? You want to do anything at all to not look like the world's biggest asshole right now?"
Like, again, a woman is dead right now. At least have some decorum. Come on. We then get Wakamiya leaves for a bit to go to the Southern House, where he talks with, as we found out in I think it was 2 episodes ago, when he went to the meeting with Natsuka and the guy from the Southern House, he makes it known that the head of the Southern House sent not his actual daughter, but his adoptive daughter. And the excuse that they gave was that she got an illness and her face got all pockmarked, so she wasn't beautiful anymore. And Wakamiya goes to see this, and she is very much fine. And they say that there was a different reason for her not going, and we didn't get it. We're going to find it out soon.
Suspense.
Yep. Cutting back, later the same night that they are informed of Samuel's death, a guy sneaks into the Cherry Blossom Palace and almost kills the Western House, or Western Consort, before she wakes up and makes some noise, and he gets chased out. And then the guards of the palace end up shooting him down as he turns into a bird, and he gets his head chopped off. When this happens, the head of the consort from the Northern House sees this and starts freaking out. She runs away. And it's very clear from her reaction that it's someone she knows. During this episode as well, earlier on, Yukiya and their gardener Kazumi, who is very clearly well known as a Northern spy, are snooping around the Cherry Blossom Palace, and he makes note that he knows Shiratama, the Northern Consort. Yeah, it's him. He was attempting to kill the Western princess.
Is it?
She says his name.
She sure thinks it's him.
She thinks it's him. So she's going a little crazy and is like cutting up scrolls into like pages, and is laughing maniacally. And the other princesses go and check on her, and they're like, "Hey, you should go home because you're going nuts."
Hey,
And
give me
it's
the knife real
great.
quick. No
Yes.
reason.
the Southern House consort Hamayu ends up basically like consoling her a bit for a moment, enough to get the knife away from her before they say like, "Look, you shouldn't have come here if you were in love with another man." And she goes, "I wasn't in love with another man. There's no way. I definitely wasn't. I was born to be wed to the Emperor. There's no way." And that's, I believe, where the episode ends.
Right, because it ends on the stinger that she says his name, because we have not heard, we have not actually been given any information to, besides the fact that the build-up makes it seem like it's likely it's him. Use her reaction makes you assume it's him. The only reason I even say it's not him, it's not for sure him, is because we haven't seen a body, like an actual body.
I haven't seen a body.
We've seen a bird body. Notoriously, some funky things are going on here. They wait till he turns into a crow, and then instead of restraining him like most of the guards choose to do, the head of the guard just kills him.
Yeah.
Full decapitates, as if it is better to not get real answers because they want to spin a lie. Which the consort of the Southern House realizes and goes, "You're all a bunch of fucking idiots. You want to actually think for a second and you would realize what's going on here?" She is based. I am starting to like her a lot more. It almost makes me wish she was a more active character before this point, but understandable, we have a lot of characters. No, I think this is, I'm interested to see where things continue to move. I am now not sure what the actual, I'm not sure where this actually winds up going in relation to Sumio's death, because I had a thought about who perpetrated this, and now I don't know. Now I wonder if it's just the guard.
I don't know.
Because for what it's worth, the guard, who I believe is probably under direct control of the Empress, would be my thought. Basically, essentially says, "Don't you dare work with the prince. You communicate through us like you always have. We will do our own investigation." A little suspicious there.
I also think the film that the letters she was ripping up were the ones from the other consorts.
I don't know.
Turning into cranes.
That was the thought I had, but I feel like
until she went crazy.
Part of me is like they could just be letters to him she never sends. So she just writes them, cuts them up, and sends them out as cranes in hopes that they get to him.
Oh, it's probably letters that she writes to her actual lover, who might be dead now. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I assume.
That's correct.
It is wild to me to introduce this man and then kill him in one episode if that is what they've done. But also, I don't know what else. I also don't inherently think he was probably after the head of he was after the Western House. I just assumed he didn't know what fucking room to go to.
Fair.
And then he realizes he fucked up.
Yep, that's exactly probably what happened.
That's what I think, because he's never been there.
Bro does not know what the direction west means. Or whatever.
True.
Or does not know his directions.
He heard west and he thought west.
He's like, "Oh shit, west, that means left." Got it.
Fuck, they didn't label these. Why was the west to the north? What the fuck? But yeah.
You know, the show's sick. There's a lot of really cool stuff they do with these characters. Like, the show's juggling a lot and managing to keep it all like in a way that still is possible to follow. Not for me. I have no fuck clue what's happening 50% of the time, but like it's still
Oh
cool.
no, absolutely same.
Like seeing her like the mental breakdown of her was wonderful. It was so cool. It's such
I mean,
good
cool's
case.
a word.
No, like
Dude, her breaking down mentally, fucking sick.
no, but like
No, I get it. Like,
understand.
they carried this out in a way that is very well done.
Yeah. No, the show is very good. It's just I think I've said this in the beginning. This isn't exactly my cup of tea. This isn't the thing I'm going for when I watch stuff.
Yeah.
Like if this was to have been voted off early, I wouldn't have been one of the people to finish it because I was just like, not my thing. But like, it's still really cool. I can see why this show has people that would follow it. Like this show's rad.
The political intrigue, I do like shows that have good like plot behind it. That's like not just like actual interesting stories basically. And originally I was out on it because it felt like it was too scattered. I didn't really like the prince that much. And I found out the prince is sick.
He's
rad.
fucking rad as hell.
Doesn't give a
He
fuck
is.
about anything.
Okay. I'm so glad this show got that extra week to cook.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a different season, and perhaps I mean I don't think ever it would not have, because I think always the two things that went off were going to go off. Perhaps like arguably if it was week by week, like this and Unnamed Memory at the very beginning would have been more like who knows. I think Mysterious Disappearances was always going week 1. I don't think we need to joke with ourselves.
Yeah. Let's not get ourselves, but
yeah.
But
No,
no,
I
it's
just
just God.
this is really interesting. Did she get the comb from Asebi? I feel like I don't remember. I feel like Asebi did give her the comb.
I don't remember.
I mean, we also know that like a lot of things are getting stolen and disappearing from that. And if it is the guard that killed her, it could have just been planted. We don't know.
Yeah, it is interesting that if she had it on her, why this guard has it and not the prince's guard who investigated the body more thoroughly. But
Who was there first too?
Well, presumably they weren't there first, just because of the fact that they have to get called, right? Like they're not that. They don't have as huge of a presence.
True. Well, yeah. No, Yara else is good. I'm excited to see what else happens with our characters.
Yeah.
And it seems like everybody is out except for our main girl now. Competition's lessening. You have a choice of, if I compete, people die. You have a choice of literal crazy that I cannot fix her. You have normie girl, and then you have one that just doesn't care, or one that's just trying actually very hard to marry the prince. It's a fun game.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens when if they wind up removing her because of her mental state, because then the South is technically under no obligation to hold their end of the bargain.
Mm-hmm.
And I could potentially see her making moves if she thinks that it's actually legitimately the best option.
Well, that's why she's telling her you should leave, partially as well, probably, is because she's like, oh, if she leaves, I'm back in.
But she's never seemed too interested. Her character is very hard to read because we get so little of it, and she's so distant.
I think she also said that she doesn't care about actually marrying the prince, right?
Which makes you wonder why she was sent.
Right.
Makes you wonder why a lot of people were sent. It seemed like everyone was like, well, it's not the first choice, but like, let's just send Tina over here. Give us a shot.
What is
Right,
interesting?
because political power in being part of something.
The argument
And the question is, why? Obviously, why did we send this adopted daughter if they're not technically a true?
Well, because they don't want to marry. They don't want to marry her. They don't want to marry the real daughter to the prince. They want to marry the real daughter to his brother. Is most likely the reason, right? You send him. You keep her back because she's
because they're in line
one.
to kill the actual prince. Yeah.
Because it's the Southern House. That's the Empress's house.
That's right. And they
They'll
don't really
build
care
it the
about
right way.
them,
That's what I imagine.
Sean, this is why you're the fantasy king, because you get all this shit.
Mason's here too. I just talk more.
True.
It was cooking in his brain. I know it.
I can see the gears.
They're always moving.
Always turning.
I don't know about that.
They're always there, at least.
We're doing really good on these names, by the way, guys. If you lined them all up for me and held me at gunpoint, I wouldn't be able to tell you whose was who. Well, that's not true. I actually think I do know who one of them is. I think I know which one Mason's is, and I also know which one mine is, which by default I think means I know which one Michael's is, because it sounds like he voted.
Yes.
I still think I have a clever name.
That's fine.
Michael, yours is the one that's getting me.
Oh, then maybe I had it wrong.
Yeah, I don't have the
That
voting
must
choice.
be-
I can't
that must
see
be-
the I
that
can't see
must
the
be-
other
That
names.
must be Michael's then. I've deduced. That's it, baby. That's the winner. John takes the cake. No one else needs the context for it. You just gotta know it fucking killed us.
I don't get.
Wait, that killed you guys?
Yes.
It's
That's
also
hilarious.
just a matter of seeing it pop in below the other three that also really added for effect.
That was the main reason.
Here,
Yeah,
Michael,
I got it.
I will post them in the group chat.
As you should.
Oh, there we go. Good timing, my man.
What?
It's just seeing the last one pop in as the last one.
I'm expecting a whisper part, and I see that.
I would like to say once again, comedy is all about timing.
Maybe I make this the thumbnail. Who knows? But results are in. There are no sleighs on Windbreakers, Bison Wolf, Kaiju number 8, or Yatagarasu. There is 1 sleigh on Girls Band Cry. There are 4 sleighs on Whisper Me a Love Song. Who is surprised? Not this podcast.
You guys are, because you didn't expect me to vote it off, but
I mean,
also
perhaps.
understand.
But I'm interested to see what shapes up for next week. Next week will be a very interesting week. I would say, I think we just go week by week still. I'm not actually worried about anything. We don't need to speed run the season too much more. We'll be fine. We need to let the we need to let the summer shows build up anyway. It won't be that big of a deal. I don't mind like a slightly delayed start to the season, even if we wait an extra week to get stuff done. I have no qualms. We have to even have the conversation if a summer season's happening, because summer seasons haven't happened in 2 years.
I know.
We've missed the past 2 summer seasons.
Depending on when we start, I should be able to do it. It's just a matter of I move into my new apartment on the 18th.
I should be okay, because my vacation is unknown this year for reasons I will explain off podcast.
Understandable.
And also house.
Yeah. I don't know what Michael's summer
But-
looks like.
I exist.
Mine involves some schooling, but that shouldn't be enough to limit anything else I do. And
Usually,
I don't take
that
vacations.
opens you up.
I don't take vacations.
Imagine being in school, nerd.
Well, it won't, because I'm adding 2 classes worth of workload on top of my school schedule, my work schedule, without adjusting anything. So it won't, because it's online stuff. So it's just getting the work done. Like there's not actual days I need to particularly have off. But yeah. But with that in mind, we are done for the night. I'm gonna end the stream so that I can turn my lights off.